for coming down from Sevenoaks this morning. Our families grew up together in Sevenoaks, and we were together more or less from, 1970 or something, until we disappeared to Tanzania in 1990. We haven't seen much of each other since, but David he's basically a historian, but he's worked in various African countries that he will tell you about. And we're really looking forward to David telling us about the socio-economic state of sub-Saharan Africa. I have to be careful to get that right in my mind. Now, is everyone sitting comfortably and all that? There is a toilet through here if anyone needs it. And if you get a bit short of air, we might just have to open that door a little bit. Would you be more comfortable in the front? Because there's still 3 more seats here. And there's this little group from Pestalozzi. That's great to see you. And Mo Khan, a citizen here of Bexhill. And are you sort of leader of the mosque here?
Yes, I'm trustee of the leader.
Yes. The mosque in Clifford Road, where we used to live. My wife and I are now in Marina Court. Anyway, John Fowler is my name, for those of you who don't know, and I'm chairman of the United Nations Association Group. And Barbara Eklund in the front, who will be giving out a few notices. Barbara, do you want to give them at the beginning or the end?
Perhaps the end.
At the end, right. And Ed Eklund at the back there. Gonzalo is recording this so that you can put it on the website, and we have David's permission for that. Thank you, David. I hope you'll make use of this website, because Gonzalo has put a lot of work into it.
And the YouTube channel as well.
There's a YouTube channel.
Yes.
Well, if you need to know how to get to it, please have a word with Gonzalo afterwards. Right, without further ado, over to you, David. Thank you.
Thank you. Very nice to be here. Well, I didn't think that when I set off in the rain in the car this morning, the train's not running because of leaves on the line or some excuse that the email gave me. Is there going to be an end to this talk this morning? 25 minutes, 30 minutes? To talk about the complexities of sub-Saharan Africa? It's almost an impertinence to suggest that there should only be 25 or 30 minutes to do that. But what are the challenges in 2017-18 for the countries of sub-Saharan Africa? I say challenges rather than what the Daily Mail might call problems, because they are indeed challenges. They're not necessarily problems, although people everywhere have problems. We have problems. For example, we're coming out of the EU, and that is a serious problem for all of us who want to live in the sort of country that I want to live in, at least. But let's start with the people in sub-Saharan Africa, the demographic questions. The total population this year is estimated to be something like 1.256 billion people. That's not a huge number when you consider that Africa is 16% of the Earth's surface. You compare it with, say, India or China, got a smaller area, and in some cases, resource endowment is not dissimilar. But the growth rate of the population is still between about 2.5% and 3% a year, but it's coming down. And so probably we're living through this turning point of African demographic history. Fertility is slowly declining. Death rate is falling, and that important indicator of the way in which social services function, infant mortality rate, that is the deaths of children within the first year of life, is falling. If you look at the profiles of the population, normally you draw a horizontal line and then you have bars of age and they're divided in men and women. So you end up with something like that. If you think of a line under here. And Africa's population at the moment, at least a large part of sub-Saharan Africa, is still like that, not dissimilar to what Britain's population was like in, say, the middle of the 19th century, where you had quite a high birth rate. And then you didn't have a large number of people who were elderly. Whereas if you take North Africa and South Africa itself, you've got a shape more like that, in that you've got a smaller birth rate and you've got a growing number of older people. So there is a contrast, and South Africa, rather predictably, I suppose, because of its industrial and commercial development, has got that exceptional position demographically in Africa. But overall, throughout sub-Saharan Africa, what is the significant thing is that it's a young population. The median age of people in sub-Saharan Africa is 20. Now, that's fairly obvious actually when you walk down an African street or through a village. You see large numbers of younger people. And young means a challenge, particularly when people move into urban areas, as they're wont to do. It's the young that tend to move like that. It's a challenge to providing education and employment. And at the moment, a place like South Africa has 27% unemployment. So it may be an advanced industrial economy in certain areas, but it also has got this exceptionalism in that if you compare that with other sub-Saharan countries, unemployment levels are probably in the region of something like 6, 7, 8%. A big problem is, what is unemployment? And I think underemployment is a term that one should use frequently when we're talking about Africa, because a lot of people are underemployed. They have work some of the time, but they don't have work all of the time. A bit like agricultural labourers in 19th century Britain, actually. But a young population also offers hope, because they're dynamic, they're active,